Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on this ring, and it is using that 13 by 18 millimeter octagon shaped fancy stone, and I absolutely adore it. I love it. It's a big statement ring, but I think it's so pretty. So we did the Climbing Roses bracelet, which I don't have at the moment, but I did have this one, which is very similar to it. So here is the bracelet. I'll link that down below. Here is the ring. These are a couple of these are in stages of completion, so I'll pop these off. Which one? These two here. And so this is what it looks like. It's got a really pretty peyote band, sort of, and the ring itself, the band is sort of attaches to the pattern that's on the ring. So it's, you know, really pretty, very simple, but loving it, absolutely loving this stone. So let's get a materials list going immediately. So you need one of the 13 by 18 millimeter octagon fancy stones, and these, you know, are various stones that I used, and I will put all the colors to each stone in the description box below the video. You need a couple of colors of Delicas, so you'll need a color and a metallic if you want to get this pattern. And you'll need an 11/0 seed bead, a 15/0 seed bead. You need some 8-pound Fireine. I'm using black satin, 10, 11, maybe even a 12, or you could get it all done with a 10, so a beading needle, but I just want you to have them available just in case. Here's my Fireine. What else do we need? I think that's it. It's, you know, we don't need that many supplies to make this beauty. All right, so I'm going to clear this off and we're going to get started. So don't forget that everything that you need for this is listed in the description box below the video. Places to purchase beads, all the colors, all the shapes, amounts, everything, sizes will be down there. Also, if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when I upload a video. All right, see you in a minute. We'll get started. Okay, let's get started. So thread your needle with about 3 feet of thread, put on a stop bead, leave about a 12 to 14 inch tail. We'll use that tail a little bit later. So I picked up and dropped down to my stop bead 44 of my Delicas, and I have alternated my colors. I started with a gold, and then I went to the, let's see, purple, gold, purple, gold, purple. So I've started with the gold, ended with the purple. That's what it looks like. I'm going to sew those into a circle by sewing through the first bead past my stop bead. So that's the gold bead right here. This is what it looks like. Just straighten myself out here. That's what we have. Now we're going to do a little peyote. So we're going to pick up a purple, and we're going to skip. We're coming out of the gold bead. We're going to skip the purple bead and sew through the next gold. That's what's so nice about alternating colors. I know when I'm putting on this purple bead, I'm just going to be sewing through all the gold beads. If you're doing all one color, you're exiting this bead, picking up a bead, skipping the next one, and sewing through the following one. So just a regular peyote. This just makes it easier. There we go. So now I have 3 of my purple beads on. Now I'm going to pick up my regular 11/0. Not a Delica, just the regular 11/0. It's a gold one, and I'm going to sew, I'm just going to peyote that on, so I'll just sew through the next gold bead. Pick up another 11/0, sew through the next gold bead. So skipping a bead, sewing through the following bead if you're all one color. So now we have our first corner done. So just get to that point and then we'll continue. Let's move on. So we're going back to the purple beads now. We're going to pick up purple, skip the next one, sew through the following bead. So we're going to do that 4 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you don't want to pull too tight here. You want to keep it fluid so you can fit all the beads in. So there we go. So we have one corner, one side, and the top. We're going to add another corner on. So pick up your 11/0, skip the purple bead, sew through the gold bead, again, skipping a bead, sewing through the following bead. Now you have another corner established. Going back to the purple, I'm going to put on 3 purple beads. So I'm picking up a purple, I'm going to sew through the gold one, if I can get it in there. That's why you don't want it too tight. Here we go. That's 1. 2. 3. So I have my 3 bottom beads on now, and I'm going to do my corner again, picking up an 11-0, just peyote that on, so skip a bead and sew through the next bead. Again, exiting here, skipping the purple one, sewing through the gold one, and then we're just coming down to this side. We're going to put on 4 of the purple beads, so just picking it up, sewing through the gold, again through the gold bead, again, one more purple one. Now we have to get our last corner on, picking up the 11-0, sewing through the next gold bead, picking up another 11-0, and I'm going to step up now. So I'm exiting here. Here's my gold bead. I'm going to sew through this gold bead and then the purple one on the diagonal, and that's going to step me up so I can put more beads on. This is what it looks like. So do you see how it's already going in? You can kind of push it into shape a little bit. So it's already turning into the shape we want. So that's what we're starting with. All right, so get that done and come back and we'll do another round. Okay, we're back. So this is where we are. We're exiting a purple bead. Now we're going to put some gold Delicas on. So we're going to pick up a gold Delica. I'm going to sew through the next sticking out bead, which is the purple. Do that again. More time. So we have the gold Delicas on. Now we've come to the corner where we have the 2 11-0s. Pick up an 11-0, sew through the next 11-0. So you're putting that 11-0 in the corner. Then we're going to continue on with our gold Delicas down the side. Just like that, just sewing out through the sticking out beads until I get to that corner. Whoops. So I'll leave that in just in case you kind of zone out like I did just a little bit right there. I picked up the wrong color. So we can just take those 2 out. So I'm working all with my gold beads right now. Just sewing through the purple ones. And this one in the corner, and then picking up an 11-0, popping it right in between the 2 11-0s, and then just going around. Remember, you're picking up, I keep going for the purple. We're picking up the gold beads right now and sewing all the gold beads on like that. So I think I'll let you just go off and finish. And what you can do at this point is, as you're going around, you can use your thumb sort of as a little mold to kind of get it to curve a little bit in the corners, like that. So just keep going around putting your gold beads on with your 11-0 in the corner, and then we'll step up at the end and continue. I'm coming down to my corner. So here's the Delica, and here's my 11-0 through the 11-0. And here I'm going to turn it sideways so you can see where I'm stepping up. So now I'm going to pick up a Delica, so gold Delica, and I'm going to, move that thread out of the way, I'm exiting the 11-0. I'm going to sew through this purple one, and then the gold one on the diagonal. That's going to step me up. And we'll pull in. There we go. And now we have that next round on. So this is what it looks like. All right, so just get to this point, come back, and we'll continue. This is what we have. So now we're going to take the stop bead off. You know, we're going to get our other thread, take the stop bead off, and thread a needle. And I want you to turn your piece over like that. Now I'm not saying front and back because you can make either side the front or the back. So we'll just be flipping it over periodically, but you'll be able to tell where we are. So here, this is the other thread. You notice it's on the side that has the purple Delicas sticking out, and the side we were just working on has the 11-0 in the corner. All right. So you will be exiting after you take off your stop bead and thread your needle. The thread will be coming out of a gold Delica over here. I just want to get to the outside beads, so I'm just going to sew through this purple one, just on the diagonal to move my thread. So now I'm on the outside, and I can start a decrease. So the thing we're going to do immediately is decrease. So you're exiting this purple bead. I want you just to sew through the next purple Delica, just right there without any beads on. And the way you're going to identify where to do this decrease is that it's the only, this Delica with the 11-0 above it is going to be sort of your reference point. So you know that that's sort of in the middle of those two purple beads. So I'm just sewing through, pull, and that gives me a corner. Now I'm going to pick up 15-0s till I get to the next corner, and I'm just going to sew through each sticking out purple Delica. Just going all the way down to that corner where I have that Delica and the 11-0 seed bead. See that? Right on top of each other. That's the only place that you have it, so that's why it's a good reference point. So putting on another 15-0, and now I'm at that spot again, right there. I'm just going to sew right through this Delica, just to get myself another corner. See? So you're just going to do that all the way around. So get that done, and then come back, and we'll keep going. Coming down to the corner, so I have one 15-0 to put on right here. And then I'm just going to, here's where I did my corner, I'm just going to sew through this one, this purple one, and then this 15-0 on the diagonal to step up. And now I have this side with another round on, just like that. So get that done and we'll continue. Back. So this is the side we're on right here. So if because I'm not calling it front back, if you are getting at all confused over what side you're on, right now we're on the side where we had the stop bead. So if you want to make sure you identify your side correctly, you can just put your stop bead back on just like that, and that way you'll know that's where you are. The other side is the side that has the 11-0s around the edge. So, I mean, pretty much can figure it out. I know I flip back and forth, but I do that for a reason. I just think it makes the bezel a little more even, and you're not pulling it out of shape. So at this point, you want to decide where you want to put, whether you want your stone facing this way, or you want it facing this way. They're very similar, but they look different. So you see that? So here's one where I faced it the other way. So you see how this one has more of a, I don't know, more of the 15-0 showing and the 11-0s. I don't know, it just looks different, right? So the sewing is exactly the same, however you put your stone in. It doesn't matter, it just looks slightly different. All right, so I'm just gonna place my stone in like this. So maybe I'll have that part being the front, and I'm going to start working on this side. So again, this is the side that has the 11-0s in the corner. So and the gold Delicas. So we're going to start adding some gold 15-0s. So I'm just going to pick up a 15-0, and on this side I'm going to put a 15-0 in between each sticking out bead, including the corners. So here, this Delica through this Delica. It's hard to, let me straighten that out. There we go. It's hard to see unless I hold it this way. 15-0 through the 11-0 right here. I'm pulling inward a little bit, 15-0 through the next Delica. Like that. That's the corner. 15-0 through the next Delica. And it's not going to stay. It's going to take a few rounds for it to stay, but I like to hold the stone in there anyway. It kind of gets it, you know, helps the shape. So I'm just doing this all the way around. 15-0. I'll just get you through the next corner, and then you can go off and finish this on your own. So through this Delica, through the 11-0, through the next Delica. Just hold your stone, you know, where the corners should go, and give it a little pull. Like I said, it's not going to stay. So just do that all the way around to the end, and then we'll step up. Okay, coming down to the end, and I'm going to step up. So exiting a Delica, picking up a 15-0, sewing through this Delica and the 15-0 on the diagonal, pulling in. It's not going to stay yet. So this is what one side looks like. This is what the other side. If this side is the front for you, this is how it looks. So it's, you know, up to you. I'm just going to pop that back in this way. All right, so I'm just going to continue on this side with one more round. So picking up, I'm going to pick up these contrasting color 15-0s to see if that, you can see that a little bit better. So I'm just going to pick up a 15-0 and sew through the next sticking out bead, which is a 15-0. I'm going to do that again. Right there, so I'm coming to the corner, and make sure your corners are kind of sitting in the corners. You can still move it a little bit. So when I get to this corner, I'm not going to put a bead here. I'm just going to sew right through. So I'm going to be decreasing there a little bit. Then 15-0s all the way around till I get to the next corner. Pulling inward. Coming to the corner, so I put my 15-0. So when I get to this corner, do you see where, you know, this is where all the seed beads are? I'm just going to skip over to the next bead. So pulling in and making a little decrease in the corner. So just do that all the way around, and then we'll step up. Here back, so let's get ready to step up here. So I just put on this 15-0 right here. I'm going to do my decrease in the corner, so no beads, just sewing through that next 15-0, picking up a 15-0, sewing through the next 15-0, one more. Now I'm going to do my step up, 15-0, exiting this 15-0. I'm going to sew through the gold 15-0 and then that sort of dark purpley one on the diagonal. Can give it a little pull inward. This is what it looks like. Okay, we have one more round on this side, but before we do that, we're flipping over to the other side. All right, and you're going to take your stop bead off. Well, actually, I'll just let you do that. Take your stop bead off, thread your needle, and come back, and we'll do one more round on this side, one more round on the other side, and we're done with the bezel. Okay, so I am exiting a 15-0. I'm going to use 15-0s here. The gold 15-0s, I mean. So I'm just going to put a 15-0 in between every sticking out 15-0 until I get to the corners, and then we'll kind of switch that up a little bit. So 15-0, 15-0, another one, again, like that. So now I've come to my corner. I'm going to pick up two 15-0s, and I'm just going to I'm exiting this one. I'm just going to sew through this one. So the one right on the other side of the corner. And it's just going to put 2 15-0s in the corner there. So it kind of goes along with the shape. And then you just put 1 15-0 until you get to the next corner. You know, 1 15-0 in between each sticking out 15-0 till you get to the corner. And then 2 15-0s in the corner by sewing just through this bead, exiting here, sew through this one. Now you have 2 of your corners done. So you see how it goes along with the shape of the stone? All right, so do that all the way around and then we'll step up. Okay, coming down to the end. So putting on this 15-0. Then I have my corner to fill, 2 15-0s. I'm going to sew through this one and then the one on the diagonal. So we're stepping up right here to complete the row. Do one at a time if you can't get them both at the same time. Mine's not super cooperative right now, so there we go. All right, so this is what we have. This is how our bezel looks, and this is of course the front of my bezel. So I'm just going to move this thread a little bit. So I'm just going to sew on the diagonal through a few beads, just to put this, to kind of tighten this thread in a little bit like that. And this is what we have. So now we're going to finish on the other side. So get that part finished and then come back and we'll just put another last round on this side. Okay, let's continue. So now we're going to do 15-0s. I'll use the gold now just for contrast. So we're exiting this purple 15-0. I'm just, like I said, I'm just using the gold for contrast. So I'm picking up a 15-0 and I put 1 15-0 on right there. Now we're exiting this 15-0. So for me it's this purple one. I want you to sew through this next one without any beads. Pick up a 15-0, sew through this one, so that's the gold one on the other side. Putting one in the corner, see? And then up through the purple one. Or, you know, the next bead on the diagonal if you're using, of course you're using all one color. Now I'm going to put on some more 15-0s. So the corner is where we're kind of fussing around a little bit, but you'll get it. So 15-0, 15-0, another 15-0. Again. Now I'm at that corner. See right there? Let me see if I can pull in super tight. Okay. So here we're exiting this bead right here. I want you to sew right through the next bead like that. And we're putting a 15-0 in this space between these 2 gold beads right here. And then you're just going to go right up that next. So it's almost like you're stepping up in each corner, right up that next bead. And that sits the bead in the corner. And we'll do it one more time. 15-0. 15-0. Another one. Now I'm back at the corner again. I'm just going to sew directly through this bead. I'm going to place a 15-0 in the corner, in between these 2 gold 15-0s, and then, so I'm going through this one. I'll do them one at a time. To put the bead there, and then I want to go up through this one. So it's, like I said, stepping up in every corner. So you're just going to do that all the way around until you get to the end, and then we'll finish up. I am down to my last bead, and I'm going to step up. So here I've on a 15-0, I'm exiting this one. I'm just going to sew through this 15-0 and then the one on the diagonal. And now my bezel is complete. So whether this is the front or the back, here's the front. Clean it off a little bit. This is the front for me. This could be the front for you. So just again to show you the difference between the front and the back, the exact same stone. Very similar, but just a slight difference. All right. Okay, so and then we're just going to sew these threads in because we're not going to use these anymore. So I'm exiting this 15-0 here. I'm just going to sew through a couple of 15-0s on the diagonal just to move my thread away from the face of the bezel. You can at this point go maybe through this one. I want to get to the Delicas. Through a couple of these. Through this one. Yeah, you're pretty tight at this point. When you feel comfortable, you can sew around a little bit until you feel super comfortable. And there you go. We have our bezel, and it's all ready for its band. All right, so get to this point and then come on back and we'll start making the peyote band. Okay, we're back. So we're going to start the band now. Now, when I did my band, I used these fabulous little things, the Quick Start Peyote cards. And I do have a video where I use them, and I'll also link these down below, and I'll link that video as well. I adore these cards. They're so easy. I use them all the time. Every time I'm starting peyote. However, I figure most of you don't have them, so we'll just do it regular. All right. So thread your needle with about 4 feet of thread, put on a stop bead, and leave enough of a tail to sew in. So you're going to pick up and drop down to your stop bead. And I'm going to go A and B on this. So A is my metallic and B is my color. So 1A, 1B, 1A, 1B, 1A, 1B, 1A, 1B, and an A. So I have 5 A beads on with 4 in between them. Okay. Now I'm going to try to pull in as tight as possible. And let me just get set up and see if I can keep everything from blurring. So here, I'll hold it like that. So this is what I have. So I'm going to pick up an A. I'm going to skip the bottom bead, and I'm going to sew through the purple bead. Place that bead on, just like that. So that gold bead is next to the, that I just put on is next to the bottom gold bead. Okay, I'm going to take another gold bead. I'm going to skip the gold, sew through the purple. Pull. I want to make sure, move my hand in a second, that your beads, the gold beads, are sitting next to every gold bead that you put on. So you want to give it a little pull. Straighten these guys out. That's what it looks like. Help me get straight. This is always so hard to demonstrate. So like that. Okay. So we're exiting the purple bead. Let me get everybody straight again. Like that. I'm going to pick up another gold bead. I'm going to skip the gold, sew through the next purple. Like that. I'm going to pull that guy into place. So it looks like. Again, gold. I'm going to skip the gold, and I'm going to sew through the purple. That. Pop my last bead down. So this is what I have so far. So now I have to do our odd count turn because we want another bead up here. So we want a bead here. So to do that, we're going to pick up our gold bead, just like this. We're going to come down through this loose gold bead at the top, the purple one underneath it, and the gold one on the diagonal. So those first 3 beads at the top. When I pull, see how it's kind of crooked? I'm going to straighten it out, and that puts my bead at the top so I can add more beads. However, I need to be coming out of this bead, so I'm exiting here. I'm going to sew through this one. I'm just going to move my needle around so it's coming out in the right place. Sew through that one. Sew through this one and the one on the to the left of it, and then down through this one. And you've done your first odd count turn. Not so bad, huh? All right, get this done and then we'll do a couple more. Let's go down now. So now we're going to take the purple beads. So we're just putting a line of gold, line of purple, line of gold, line of purple. That's the whole pattern. So purple through every sticking out gold. Purple through the gold. Purple through the gold. Purple through the gold. Now I'm going to go back up again so I don't have to do the odd count turn until I get to the top. So now I'm putting on a gold row. Gold through the purple. Gold through the next purple. Gold through the next purple. Through the next purple. Now I have to get that bead in place, which means I have to pick up a bead. Gold bead. I'm going to sew down through this gold bead, the one underneath it, and the one on the diagonal. So the three of those on the diagonal. Right there. Pull through. Make sure my bead is sitting correctly. I want to move this thread to here. I'm going to sew up through this one, through the purple one, and then this gold one. Just moving the thread. It's really, if you think about what you're doing, you're just moving the thread. That's all you're doing, just so it comes out of that bead at the top, and you don't have any thread showing. All right, so that's all you're going to do. Do another purple row. I'll just get it started. So every time you're going to put a purple bead in between the gold beads. Turn around, go up, putting on your gold. Okay, now we have to do our odd count turn. Picking up a gold, sewing through these three. Making sure that bead flips over. Now you just want to move this thread so it's coming out of this bead. Just going up this bead, so exiting here, going up this one, and the gold one, and then down this one. That's everything. That's it. Easy enough, huh? So you're just going to do that until you get half the length of your band. So we're going to do half the band. See, I already have one half here. So half. We're going to attach it here. And then we're going to put the other half on, attach it here, and then we're going to zip them up in the middle. So make both of your halves, and don't worry if you make it too big or too small, you can just add on. You have plenty of thread, or you can take off if you need to. All right, so get that done and come on back and we're going to put the band on this ring. So we have two different bezels. So we're going to, and they go on slightly differently. So we'll do this one first. So here are your two band pieces, and I want you to situate them so that the four color delicas you have on each end here. So this is the stop bead end right here, and this is where, your working thread. Those are going to attach right here. Now, before we do that, I just want you to take, just to set up for later when we zip up the band, I just want you to take the stop bead off of one of your pieces and thread a needle. That way, this way it'll be ready for later. And I want you to move this thread. So here, you're exiting up at the top here. That's where, because this is where we started our peyote. I want you to go through these two. So we'll do one at a time. Go through, well, I can't fit it. With these two, and then this one. I want to turn my thread around and have it come out over there. And this one. Then I'm going to go up the next one like that. I'm going to sew through this one and back up through these two, and then down this one. So I've just moved my thread around so I can add the 4 of the purple beads. Let's do that now. So I'm going to put on 4 purple beads. I just lost my thread. Let me quick get that back on again. Gotcha. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is just setting up for sewing the 2 band ends together. So now this is my one of my stop bead ends. Here's the 4 beads that are going to attach to my bezel. Here's the next end with the 4 beads that are going to attach to the other side, and then here are the 5 gold beads that we're going to zip up to these 4 purple beads. All right, so this is how you want the setup to be. So I want you to have that. So just get to this point, and then come back and we'll attach the bands. Okay, so I've turned my bezel over to the back, and we're going to attach one end of the band. So I just put the other one aside. So here, it doesn't matter which one you attach to either side, it doesn't really matter. So here we're going to attach those 4 beads right there, the 4 purple beads, to this last row here of gold beads. Let me see if I can pull in and clear up a little bit. The last row of gold beads on my bezel, the back, to the back of my bezel, the last row of gold Delicas. So I'm going to sew through this one. And the way you can reference that is that I have there's that 11 seed bead there. So this bead, once you get that one on, the rest is easy. It's just zipping up. So there I have my first bead, my first 2 beads sewn together. Now you're going from this gold one to this purple one on the band. I'll leave it open so you can see the thread path. Back to the band, the gold one, like that. Excuse me, back to the bezel, back to the band, the purple one, back to the bezel, the gold one, back to the band, the purple one, back to the band, the gold one, back to the band, the purple one. Now I'm going to pick it up. That's what it looks like. I'm coming out of the purple one. I'm going to sew through the gold one right here, like that. And then to attach, and yours is going to be tight, to attach these 2 bottom beads, you're just going to sew through this gold one and sew up through the purple one as well, like that. And now you're all attached. And yours should be nice and tight. And then just reinforce wherever you need to reinforce, and then just sew your threads in. But make sure yours is nice and tight and everybody's tight, and and you sew this thread in really nicely. Okay, so get that done and come back and we'll continue. Okay, let's do this one. So a little different because we're using the 5 gold beads to attach to the bezel instead of the 4 color like we did on the others. You want the ends to be exactly the same. Here you want 5 on one side of the gold and 4 of the purple on the other end when you zip them up. But you want both those 5 stop bead end beads, these 5 sticking out beads, to be sewn to the bezel. So I'm just going to put this one aside. You'll do that one after. So this is what I have. I'm going to attach these 5 beads to this row of beads here, these purple beads. So they're the last Delicas before we get to the 15 O's. So I'm exiting the top. Just move this away for a second. Okay, that top gold Delica bead there. I'm going to sew through this purple Delica. So it's this one here, and the way you can identify it is that the two are next to each other there, the two colors. Okay, so just like that. So just get that on, and then after that it's gonna, it'll be easy. So then we're gonna do the same zipping. So we're coming out of the purple one on the bezel. We're gonna go through the gold one. And this one I'm going to have to do tight because we're going to have to do a little bit extra on this one. So I want to make sure it's tight. So here, one through the gold one, go through the purple one on the bezel, through the gold one on the band, through the purple one on the bezel, through the gold one on the band, through the purple one on the bezel, pull it tight. That's what it looks like so far. And now you want to go through the gold one on the band, like that. So what we have here is two beads at either end that aren't attached, the two gold Delicas. So I'm just going to turn my piece around like this. Do you see where I'm coming out right there? I'm just going to sew through this gold Delica to attach those two at the top. Like that. And then I'm going to work my way down, because this one is just, like I said, a little more involved than the other one. And I'm going to try and get through the purple Delicas. Hold on. So right there. So I'm going to have to dig in a little bit and position your needle to get through. So like that. Then through this gold one. Then back through this. Or then through this purple one. You get it. Just maneuver your needle a little bit. Come on, you. Just might have to bend it back a little bit. So here, let me put my finger in there. It's fighting me a little bit, but I'm going to get it. There we go. I could go down a needle size. That's what I put all those different needle sizes in there for, but I was just being a little lazy. So then back through this one, and then through this one, through the one on the bezel. So I'm back the purple one, back down through this one. Okay, so now I just need to connect this guy, right? So I'm just going to go up, back up through this one. And that's going to connect it, and then you're just going to just sew your threads in. So reinforce a little bit around and sew your threads in, and then of course do the other side just like the other one, and then come on back and we'll zip them up together and we'll have a ring done. So we're going to zip the ring up. Now my sides are, one side's bigger than the other, longer than the other, because I've been using the same pieces for demonstration. Yours will probably be a little bit closer. It doesn't really matter, just as long as it fits. So here I'm making sure that I have the gold beads on one side, so 5 of those, and the 4 color beads on the other side, so we can zip. So I'm just going to hold it on my finger, exiting this gold bead at the top. Just going to sew through the gold bead, the other side, then the color, then the gold, then the color, then the gold. So just like what we did before, only this is just a little bit easier than attaching it to the bezel. So here, just zipping. Oops, don't get caught. There we go. Gold one. So here I'm at the end. You want to attach these two at the end. Pop those through like that, and then you want to reinforce everything. So get that done. Oops, and then come back and we'll finish up. Okay, we're back and we're done. So I know it was long, but I had to show you both ways of doing it, so it took a little bit longer, but I think it's, I just absolutely adore it. I think it's so beautiful. If you're not into rings, you can use this as a bail this way and put a really pretty chain on it, or even a metal chain, or you can even put the bail, you know, add the part of the band as a bail this way. So lots of options here. Adore these stones. They're so pretty. Love the colors. Great for the upcoming holidays. I mean, I'm going to really bling it out this holiday season. All right, so I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.